Start from the beginning story. They called him Iroko, the quiet ex-soldier who blended into any crowd in Lagos. Nobody knew his face, but every security chief in the state knew his name. After the government abandoned him post-service, Iroko formed a crew of ghosts, men who moved like shadows and never spoke unless necessary. His team was small but deadly. Cobra, explosives genius; short temper, ex-Niger Delta militant; Tega, master driver raised in Lagos traffic brutality; Slim, tech wizard, could hack CBN from a bush bar; Mama G, the only woman, surveillance expert, heart of ice. For 2 years, they silently robbed only one type of target: corrupt politicians and money launderers. They never killed innocents. People online called them the street cleaners. But the police had formed a special unit to catch them, led by Captain Danlami, a brutal officer who believed fear solves everything. He studied every robber,
every escape, every pattern. Then one morning, Slim burst into their hideout with news that changed everything. "They're moving 10 billion naira cash tonight," he said, sweating. "Where?" Iroko asked. Slim hesitated. "The Federal Reserve Vault, the one they say is impossible to break." Everyone froze. The vault wasn't just protected, it was a fortress. 6-inch steel doors, biometric locks, magnetic floor sensors, armed guards with shoot-to-kill orders, a 3-minute lockdown sequence. Once triggered, it was suicide. But Iroko whispered, "This is the last one. After this, we disappear forever." Mama G's camera drones showed that Captain Danlami and his men had already started moving, as if they knew something big was coming. Cobra smiled and cracked his knuckles. "Oh yeah, nah. Let's give them a night they will never forget." At midnight, dressed as armored truck drivers, they rolled into the Federal Reserve compound. Everything worked smoothly, too smoothly. When they opened the vault's first gate, alarms remained silent. "Something is wrong," Mama G whispered through the radio. Then Slim's computer froze, hacked remotely. And before they could react, floodlights snapped on. Captain Danlami stepped out with a full tactical squad. "Game over, Iroko. You walked straight into my trap." Iroko looked around calmly, then smiled. "No, officer, you walked into mine." At that moment, a massive explosion thundered from outside. Cobra had detonated the fuel tank of Danlami's own armored convoy, blocking every exit. The compound shook. Gunfire erupted. Sirens screamed. The vault door was still open. The money was right in front of them. But instead of running to it, Iroko whispered something that made his crew freeze. "We're not here for the money." Captain Danlami's eyes widened. "Then what the hell do you want?" Iroko pointed into the vault. Inside, a briefcase sat alone on a pedestal, glowing under blue security lights. "We're here for that," he said. Danlami suddenly panicked. "Do you know what's inside that case?" "Who told you?" But before he could finish, another explosion rocked the compound. The video feed in Slim's headset flickered. Multiple SUVs were approaching the compound, fast. Mama G whispered, voice trembling for the first time, "Iroko, those are not police vehicles. Someone else wants that case." Iroko stared at the approaching attackers and muttered, "Part 2 just started."